Hi, welcome to Blink. This video will demonstrate just how easy it is to register and get started with Blink. I'm going to cover everything from registration to patient recalls to dispensing and lots more. So let's get started. If you follow the links on our website, you'll arrive here at the registration screen. So if you complete the registration screen as follows. Okay, so I've successfully completed the registration form and I will now receive an email which I need to click and confirm the link from the link in there to confirm my email address. Okay, so I've received the email into my mailbox and I've followed the link and confirmed my email address. So now I can log in. I'll use the email address with which I registered as my own personal address and the password that I set during registration. Get straight in and immediately see the selected features. So we've currently signed up to the Blink trial, which is free. Okay, so having logged in, the first thing I'm going to do is enter a new patient onto the system. I'll just complete the patient's information. Okay, so we've now added the patient onto the system, Mr. Joe Bloggs, and we get taken straight to the patient summary screen. The first thing to note on this patient summary screen is the last full examination, next full examination, last contact lens examination, and next contact lens examination. If we don't want to use the examination module straight away, in order to store recall dates, we can set a recall date for each patient using on this patient summary screen. So I can set the last full examination to be today by just clicking the shortcut button. If actually it was last year, then I can click on the date and change it to 2018. And similarly, for the next full examination, I can set it to be 1 year from today. I can do the same for the contact lens examination dates. Next, I might want to edit some of the patient details. I've noticed here I've got the mobile number in the telephone field. So if I go into patient details, I can change or swap over the mobile number in the mobile field and the home number in the telephone field. Also enter a few lifestyle bits of information here, such as the funding status, patient type, PCT of the patient, domiciliary reason if it's applicable, and add any notes in. Click on update. If I now go back to patient data, we see that the telephone numbers are in the correct fields. Next, I might want to add some more lifestyle notes, so I'll go to the lifestyle notes section. And again, I can repeat some of the repeat entry of some of the fields I've already mentioned. I could put in the PCT here. Reason for a GOS1 if needed. And then more personal information such as do you drive, and occupation, how often do you exercise, and so on. This lifestyle notes screen will also include questions critical to GDPR. So, are you happy to receive communication for the purposes of healthcare, including recalls? Yes. Are you happy to receive promotional communication? The default there is set to no. So I'll leave those on those options. Preferred method of communication, email. I can also set here the default recall frequency. So I'm going to set that to be 18 months. And click update. Another useful feature when first registering a patient might be to add some notes to the records. So here I'm just going to enter a note. And click the show in summary box. Add note. I now go back to the patient summary. The note and up to 5 other notes will appear on the summary page. Another feature of the pre-examination process might be to add some medical background for this particular patient. We could set the system up to have a list of our local GPs. There's none set up at the moment. We can also enter some information about their general health and other medical conditions. Next, I'm going to show you how easy it is to find patients on the system. We've currently got Joe Bloggs selected, but if we wanted to search for a patient with the surname of Jones, click search, enter it into the box and click search. It brings up another patient I've just entered, Samantha Jones. Just click on her name and we see go straight into the patient summary. There's also a more detailed find patient search facility if you want to use a few different criteria to search. So for example, we can use a partial bit of the surname, so SMI and then percent. Click find, and that will. Okay, so there are no patients on the system. The surname beginning with SMI, so let me try L. Okay, so that finds one patient whose surname begins BL, Joe Bloggs. I'll go back into the patient search. I could also search according to occupation or according to whether somebody has glaucoma or diabetes, or by their date of birth. So if I want to select every patient who was born in a particular year, again, Job Logs comes up, January 15th, 1973. And then finally, if I wanted to search by postcode, I could try LE1 %, and that will show me all patients who have a postcode beginning LE1. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to look at is the diary. This demo is looking at blink once and blink twice. So the limited diary is that, or limitations on this diary are that you can only have one diary, but on the full version of Blink, you could have multiple diaries, one for each of your optometrists, one for reception or collections. Straightforward. If I double click on an appointment slot, the diary inputs the currently selected patient. So in this case, Samantha Jones. I can select the appointment type, contact lens check, automatically goes in as scheduled. I can confirm the date and time and length of the appointment. I can change that to be a 30-minute appointment. I can add some display text if I want to. It will automatically populate display text with their phone number if there is one on the system. And save. I can print out a reminder if I've got a printer attached. I'll just close that for now. And the appointment appears in the calendar, color-coded for that particular patient. If the appointment that I need to create is not for the current selected patient, I can also go into an appointment and click on Find Patient. In this case, I'll just find everyone and select Mr. Job Logs, and I can create an appointment for him. As you can see, it's color-coded. It's a different type of appointment, and so it's a different color. A few other little things that you can do on the diary. If I put my mouse over the left-hand bar on an appointment, I can drag and drop it to another day. Once I've done that, it comes up and asks me to confirm. So in this case, I can click Save, and the appointment has now been moved. If I right-click on a day, I can add a general event, which is a non-patient related event. So in this case, it might be a meeting. I can change the appointment length and put in some text. If I right-click again, I can adjust working hours for that particular day. So the default working hours are 9 till 6 p.m. So if I wanted to make it 9 till 11 a.m., save. That's now grayed out all but the first 2 or 3 hours for that particular date of Tuesday, the 12th of March. If I now try and create an appointment on a grayed out area, the system won't let me. Finally, if I right click, I can choose to move all appointments. And if I choose to move them all to the 13th, it moves every appointment from Tuesday the 12th over to Wednesday the 13th. I'm just going to move these back. Another thing we can do, if the patient related to a particular appointment isn't the currently selected patient, if I click on View Patient there, it will take me straight into the patient summary. Next, I'm going to show you how to send appointment reminders. So if we go into System Admin, Reporting, Okay, because we're using blink once and blink twice here, we don't actually have the appointment reminder functionality. That comes in the full version of Blink again. However, if I did want to send this particular patient an SMS reminder for their appointment, I can go into patient data, printing, print letter. Here I can select a predefined template, so I have here an appointment reminder template. The template is entirely editable by yourselves. Anything within the square brackets gets substituted for information off the database, so the patient's name and surname and practice telephone number will be substituted into this text message. If I sending method fields, I can choose email, print, or to SMS, or by SMS text message, and I'm clicking go. It tells me that one text message has been sent. And that was it coming through onto my phone just there. In order to send those SMS text messages, I first needed to go into my account and purchase some SMS text credits. So you can see that this account has 96 credits remaining. I can use the Buy Now button and go to PayPal to pay for additional credits. Likewise, I can use the postcode lookup by buying credits. And if I decided to move off the free Blink trial, then I can use the PayPal buttons to subscribe to Blink once or Blink twice. Okay, the next thing I'm going to show you is the examination module. Now again, because this is Blink once and Blink twice, we only have the option to enter a full examination. Blink again has additional options of contact lens examination form and an additional examination. Here on the full examination form, we can specify an examination date, practice, location, and staff member. So obviously if I wanted to enter records from an examination that was undertaken yesterday, I can change the date to yesterday's date. If this is an external prescription, I can tick the external prescription box. There are a series of defaults, so if you hover your mouse over the section title, you can see the default and click on the set default text, and it will automatically populate the box with the text it's stored. Or obviously I can enter it in manually. So this is the first section, history and symptoms, so we can enter the reasons for the visit and the history of the patient, along with the medication, any other notes, select whether the patient has glaucoma or is diabetic. Moving on down to the ophthalmoscopy and external examination section. We have a series of defaults that you can double click on these to pre-populate some of the fields. Everything has been designed to be as quick and as easy as possible. So we've got a series of drop-down options which can be selected. Following the right eye, we've now got the left eye data. If that mimics exactly the same as the right eye, you can click on the copy right eye data link, and it will pre-populate those fields with the right eye data. We have some basic methods of storing information about the eye, lens information, by marking the diagrams with an X and putting a comment if necessary. And the further investigative techniques, again, we've got some shortcuts. So if I double click the pre-IOP time, it automatically populates the current time. Again, there's some defaults that we can enter in here. If everything is fine, CT without RX, click on the all fine. Same for CT with RX. In the refraction section, we can first enter the symmetry of glasses. This can also be pre-populated in from a previous examination data if one exists on the system. In this case, obviously there isn't, so I can enter the data manually. I'm going to just type in 125 into the sphere field, and as soon as I move off that field, it automatically puts in the decimal point and the plus sign. If I double click that box, it will automatically switch over to a negative sign. If I try to enter something that is invalid, the system highlights it in red and won't allow me to save until I correct that. You can, in fact, enter 2 existing prescriptions. If I then move on down to the subjective RX, if I want to, I can again use a shortcut and click to populate from the current RX. So if I click on there, it will automatically move the sphere values from up above down here into the subjective. A couple of other essential bits to the examination data. We need to specify an outcome. So if this is a new RX, I'll select that option. I can give some recommendations if I want to, based on questions that the optom may have asked the patient. And retest date, because previously in the lifestyle notes I selected the default to be 18 months, that's bringing that in there. I can now just click save. There is a warning on that. You have not entered pre-IOP values. Would you like to save anyway? And say OK for yes. Once the examination is saved, it displays a summary of the examination on the screen, and I can print that if I wanted to. In this case, I'll just move on. Now, if we look at the patient summary, you can see that the patient's latest prescription is showing here underneath the summary data. You can also see that the last full examination and next full examination due dates have been substituted from those that we entered manually to be ones that have been generated from the examination form that we've just submitted. At any time I can go into the examination history and see and edit the examination. So I've just clicked on the examination in the list there. I can change any of these bits of information and click on update to resave that examination. Okay, if we now move on to printing, if we go to printing on the left-hand menu, we can print various GOS forms. So if I want to print GOS 2, for example, you might not be able to see that just yet. Let me transfer that one. It will come up in a different tab, which is why I'm just needing to do this. With the GOS form pre-populated with the patient's name, address, and prescription, and I can click on print. So there's various other GOS forms that can be printed out in that way. Likewise, I could print a letter. We saw that earlier with the SMS, but if I wanted to print a reminder letter or a referral letter or a diabetes letter, I can set these up in the letter templates and send them off to a printer, email them, or if they're short enough, I can send them via SMS. Also from this printing menu, I can click print the patient's latest RX. So that opens up in another tab. So if I just do the same, including the URL in this tab. Like that, you see the template-based prescription that can be printed out or sent via email. Okay, so the next thing to look at on the system is recalls. If we look, first of all, we need to go into System Admin to set up the recalls. We're going to System Admin and then under Template Management, select Edit Auto Recalls. Recalls in Blink Once and Blink Twice are set up this way. They are dependent on patient type. So for standard patients, we can set up first recall, second recall, third recall, and so on up to 5. We can specify how many days before or after the recall date the recall should be sent out. We can specify the template that we want to use. So for in this case, we might send the SMS message and change the method to be SMS. So this is now reading that for standard patients, the first recall will be sent out 21 days before the recall date. It will be sent out as an SMS message via SMS. The second recall will be sent 30 days after the recall date. We might decide to send out a standard letter. And if we select post, basically that will mean that when we run the recalls, that template and that letter will be sent to the printer, ready for printing and posting. The third recall is to be sent 75 days after the recall date, and we may choose this letter template, and we may choose an email as being the method to send. We don't have to use all of the first 1 to 5 recalls, so if I leave 4 and 5 blank, that's for standard patients. We do exactly the same for other patient types. So we've got patients over 60, patients who are diabetic, family history of glaucoma, and children. So having set that up, I just need to update. Also under this template management, while we're here, we can click on Edit Templates. That will take us into the template editing screen we've already seen earlier on. But if I select a particular template, since this is just a standard letter template, I can edit the content of the letter template and click Save so that that can be used at a later date. I'll go back into the System Admin section, see what else we have. We actually have a data management menu item on the free version. It's not actually enabled, but once you're on the paid version of Blink Once or Blink Twice, you can import or export your patient data from this database so that you've always got a record of that if you want to use it elsewhere. Also in System Admin here, under Users, you can add doctor, or edit the doctor, or edit the practice. As we saw earlier on, for each patient, you can specify their GP. So if I click on Add Doctor, I could edit the practice name, Doctor. Okay, so that's the actual practice, that's Hilltop Surgery. Smith. And the address 123. Okay, so that GP has been added. So now if we go back to the patient data, patient details, we can select the doctor for this particular patient is Dr. Smith at Hilltop Surgery. And we can save that.